everybody. Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV here with a new bullet. In the clips, as it were. This is a floor plan you've probably seen before. I know I've definitely seen it plenty of times on this channel. And I will tell you, I'm really glad I went through this RV because my first impression when I first walked in was this is the same thing everybody else does, but maybe not as over-the-top fancy snazzy as like a Cougar. But then I started looking at some of the detail work they did here, and I'm really glad I did because this isn't going to be for everybody, but it checks a couple very specific boxes that not every other builder of this layout does. Like, first of all, you've got Goodyear tires, which is always a nice thing, with tire pressure monitoring, which is cool. I don't think they get a lot of credit for that. They've also got their 220-watt factory solar package with a Victron MPPT charge controller standard on these. That's some really nice hardware. It's a battery tender, but it's very respectable. It is carpetless, it's ventless flooring, and bullets are surprisingly lightweight. This thing, I think, qualifies very nicely for a lot of the general category of half-ton towability. It's like 30 feet or less tip to tail. It is like 5,600 pounds dry, 7,600 pounds max, which also means a respectable 2,000 pound cargo capacity on this thing. And they're achieving that by using a lot of aluminum and lamination in their process to keep the weight in check. Overall, the longer I stayed in it, the more I kind of respected it. Now, there's certain things that you might not like. Like, it doesn't have a fireplace. They don't do king beds, but they do I'm such a stupid child. They do true queen beds. They're inverter prepped. They have an expanded solar package available. And they have a free-floating table for the dinette, which I really like, so you can roll that sucker around the way that, they roll that beautiful bean footage. Doo-doo.
Because I think the thing with this RV is someone's either going to go, finally, somebody made the exact thing I'm looking for, or absolutely not, that's a fail. Like, I don't know that there's going to be a lot of in between. I don't know there's going to be a lot of people like, it's okay. There are some smart features here, and there's some things I think some people might feel is a bit of a miss. So what are we looking at? First of all, we're just a traditional 6.5 foot tall inside, so nothing over the top there, but nothing really like worse than anybody else. For the most part, it is a carpetless, ventless model. That's a marine woven slide floor. There is a single heat vent in the floor of the bedroom. Otherwise, this is, generally speaking, very easy cleaning and pet friendly. They had to do a floor vent in the bedroom because there wasn't cabinetry to duct into effectively. One of the things that I like about it is the window coverage. This layout, like some RVs provide windows over here on the poop side of the camper. Some RVs provide windows on the back and some on the campside. And this one does all of that. So the actual natural lighting and airflow you can get in these UV tinted windows is pretty excellent. Now, being a laminated 1.5-inch thick wall RV, they really cannot put power outlets in the sidewall. So you'll find where they tuck them under the overhead cabinets. And I actually failed to turn on an extra light under the smart TV right there. So kind of keep that in mind. It's not a giant oven, but at least it's an oven. There's a lot of manufacturers who have peeled those out because the kitchen oven and everything it takes to build that is actually the single most expensive total cost of investment appliance in the RV. Kind of at least in the kitchen area. So if you want to make an RV $200-300 less real cheap or real quick, that's one of the ways you do it. That is an 8 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridge variety. And one of the areas where I'm going to knock them a little bit, and I hope you appreciate, even though these are things that we sell, I try to be real about what we're looking at. I suspect that's a wasted dead pocket under that fridge. I don't like that. I don't like wasted dead pockets. And you see where that power outlet is back there? That is back there because there's nothing else back there. That fridge does not go all the way to the sidewall. So there's probably about 4 or 5 inches of wasted dead air pocket behind the fridge as well. Just a guess and an estimation. But how many times have you looked at RVs with countertop extensions and said, why can't they just put them counter flush? It's not that hard. Well, yeah. A lot of people agree, and obviously Bullet actually did the work. So there is some really good stuff included here, such as they are running a convection air fryer, electric oven up here with their microwave, kind of like you have the propane oven down below. So There we go. I'm trying not to slam that sucker too awful hard. We'll see where that TV can pivot around like a lot of manufacturers. It's mounted up really high because that's one of the things that accomplishes campside windows over there. And they have done a countertop cutaway, which it makes the RV kind of look and feel a little bit bigger and more welcome. But if you look at the Ember version of this, the Heritage Glen Heritage Glen, as it were, version of this floor plan, they squared it off. I kind of prefer it squared off, but I don't know. Some people like to cut corners and some people like to square dance. I'm not sure. Something I do like that they did right here is they made that a floating table. Now it's still a little bit of a knee knocker, like pedestal posts. With those elliptical bases they're bulky and they're heavy, but you know what? Those legs are also acting like bottom support when you fold it down into the sleeper position. So there is some value to that. And I do want to point out that they did a good job including a couple, household and USB outlets in there. Now, the sofa, I'm gonna get this opened up for you in a few minutes. One of the cool things about it is the armrests are not wasted space, so they nailed it on the sofa. Just maybe not below the refrigerator. Does anybody have this floor plan who's watching this video? Have you punched out the panel down there, like Ludacris has punched out people asking them to get out the way? And is there anything down there? Because I'm wondering if that might not be like a good pet dish kind of location or something like that, you know? You know what? I think I've done enough of a spin you around like a record baby routine. This is all pocket screwed lumber core cabinetry, by the way. Let me get that out of the way. But if we take a look at the television here, again, that can pivot around a little bit. So if somebody's back here at the rear lounge, the kitchen overall does have good storage. I don't really feel like we have an overt trash can location. I think what I would probably do, though, since you have that flip-up countertop extension and it's counter level, I would personally get a nice size wastebasket, and I would just leave it under that flip-up countertop. And, that would work for me. Now you have to move it when you travel, and we're going to get a look at that in a little bit. But I feel like I could make that work. That's just my little thought process on that whole thing around there. We're looking at a hide-a-bed in this one. I have to double check. I'm pretty sure you can get a theater seat. If I'm wrong about that, I am sorry. I see so many RVs. I can't remember every option on every single one. I know that should be my job, but it is a lot. The other thing there is that table being free floating, you can just get it out of the way. You can use it like an open lounge. You could take it outside. You could kind of use it like extra counter prep space. Kind of use it like a little bit of a desk. Not perfect as a desk, but I feel like there's some potential there. Am I wrong? Am I just dead crazy stupid on that? Am I wrong? I don't know. I could be. In the bathroom, as I moonwalk backwards, we do have just the generic dollar store 4-inch fart fan up in there. On our way down, though, we do have a porcelain foot flush stool that has some really, really nice legroom. And thanks to the skylight, I'm not bashing my head in the shower of this thing, but you absolutely, if you're over 6 foot like me, you need that skylight. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to pause here real quick. We'll come back to the bathroom. I have a if I see something, I say something policy. I just happen to notice a little bit of trouble with some trim there. And on the way through, I know I'm going back in the living room here. Over here by the television, I noticed just not the most perfect fit and finish on that area right there. I don't know that that's going to be there on every single one of these. And I'm no different than you. If I'm going to spend money, I look at it and go, well, what else? What else is not awesome? Like, they nailed it right here. Just the one on the other side of the bathroom, maybe not as well. So I'm just trying to be fair. I hope, if nothing else, hit the like button on the video if you just like the fact that I'll even go through and point out a defect on an RV when I see it. Because again, I exclusively work for this dealership. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. I'm trying to be real about it. But I respect the fact that you work hard for your money. You probably work so hard for it, honey. And we want to treat you right. That is the one floor vent in the entire RV. They are using a little bit better floor cover, vent cover system, though. This is a 60 by 80 true queen bed. So a normal queen will fit. I don't know if I want to really call it a walk-around bed, because over on this side of the RV, we'll see it outside, that's where you have things like your water heater and your docking station. So you have an extra large side stand over there. And since the middle of the wall across from the bed is where, there's a door, they had to put the bedroom TV hookups in a weird spot, but I don't know that a lot of people are really, worried about that here. Now, one of the things that's really cool on this that a lot of manufacturers do not offer on this floor plan is 50 amp service with the ability to have a second air conditioner installed. That right there may be a make it or break it for some folks. Now, over here on this wall, it really feels like they're missing a window. If you're just standing inside, you're like, they went cheap, they didn't put a window in it. They literally could not, because there's an awning arm on the opposite side of that wall. So there literally was not space to put a window in that. The only way that they could is if they shrunk the awning by about 3 feet to that side of the door. So when we go outside, keep that one in your memory banks right there, because I think that's a potentially important thing. Both sides of the bed, you have these sharp corners on the wardrobes, but they are down pretty low. I don't know that they're too much of a poke danger. I could be wrong. The outlets, though, right up by the headboard, and both household and USB and inverter prepped, which is kind of cool. Now, a little peek at some bedroom storage in here. You have that single dresser drawer in that area, but you don't have a matching dresser drawer on the other side, because that side stand is not quite as deep. So that's something that you want to maybe keep in mind, The storage under the bed, though, it kind of struck me just how cleanly executed and wide open it was. That I really did like. And something that might be a bit of a deal breaker for folks on this is the road mode function, but keep an eye on that folding counter extension, because this one does require what I call 2-stage travel access, and that counter extension has to fold, because otherwise it would get into a pushing and shoving match with the slide fascia, and no matter who wins, you lose. So our fridge, our kitchen stuff, that is readily accessible. And the fact that the dinette back here is not in a slide, because the sofa should not be occupied in transit. They account for the pantry, they account for the fridge. They don't account for an extra person sitting in on a retracted slide. But this dinette, you don't got to worry about it, because it's just cabin mounted. It's in the floor. In a pinch, that could potentially also be an overnight sleeper as needed. Because the thing is, you're going to need that other door to get to your main bathroom. Right? Well, the bathroom and your main bedroom area. And in case you're kind of weirded out about having a door directly into the bedroom, remember it deadbolts just like the main living room door. If you don't like this door, nothing says you ever have to use it. You can straight lock it down, shut it down. So your front door, well, that's going to be nap and crap-tastic, while our, living kitchen door, that's where you're going to get your snack-tastic access. So it has all the big three. You just got to do a 2+1-er.
And I touched on this when our video first began, but the towing factors on this are pretty solid. It's about 30 feet tip to tail, tongue to bumper, so total length, and 7,600 pounds maximum weight with a good solid about 2,000 pounds of available cargo capacity. That fits into the world of a lot of half-ton towability. Not every single half-ton, but quite a few. Late model tow package half-tons, you're going to find this one pretty good. But going further than that, look at the awning. It clearly covers both doors, which is really nice on a rainy day. My 2 cents, I harp on this a lot, but I really could go without the outside speakers mounted all the way up to the rooftop. They do at least have a little bit of a downward dog bias to them. Those look like actually JBL speakers, a little bit nicer sound system at least. It is just mounted up a little high for my taste. I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. But if you look at where the stuff is located on this, like your dual entry doors, you have dual folding Moride stable steps. Well, flip down, fold. I don't know. The words are not coming to me right now. I'm not wording. My brain forgot how to word. Plenty of room here for a picnic table is what I'm getting at. Now, the RV's inverter prepped, and you can get a more advanced solar package, as I recall, that does have a 2,000 watt inverter. They even make sure at least one outside outlet is hooked up to that. So you could potentially have, outdoor entertainment even when boondocking or whatever. The Goodyear Endurance radials are a factory standard item on these. This also has an enclosed and forced air heated underbelly with a 30,000 BTU furnace. What that means is extended season use and comfort. What it doesn't mean is I don't know, well, I guess what it also means is I don't know what the exact temperature rating you can use this thing down to would be. So someone's like, well, if it's going to be 12 degrees, is the water going to not freeze up? I don't know because Keystone hasn't done the testing, so I can't make a promise they haven't made. Now, if you look over here on the right-hand side and you're on a bit of an acid trip, that is going to be a little bit exciting. But if you look over here on the left-hand side and you're not on an acid trip, that is going to be a little bit exciting because they actually put like that little utility pegboard right there. So if you can make it like a little bit of a utility tool wall. You can customize it to sort of hold your stuff the way you want, however you want, you know. The front of this is actually an aluminum sweep. When you go up to the next Big Brother Bullet series, you see that's where you start to pick up those candy-coated nose caps. This does not ride on a Lippert chassis for quite a few years now. These have ride on a Norco NXG frame, a huck-bolted style frame, basically. They also use the Giggy Box, and it's basically a battery disconnect and relay system on steroids that gets rid of parasitic load off the RV. But what's cool is they have a factory standard solar package that still can bypass that and charge the batteries even while it's disconnected from the chassis, which is cool. The thing is, in certain situations, you also want to be able to shut that solar package off. So that's what the second disconnect in here is actually for, which I think is very cool. Now you see again that Victron charge controller right there, and my phone, I think, is ringing. No, it was just some weird alert. I normally keep my phone on absolute mute mode here, but I've had a grandmother who's had some health things, and she's getting up there, and I'm kind of waiting on an update on something. Everything seems to be as good as it can be for now, so don't worry about the "Hey Josh, we're praying for you" comments. Like, we're doing okay. We have solar on the roof. We're also prepped for a ZAMP portable package, and obviously you saw the enclosed docking center. To the right of that, we have our on-demand water heater, and these two big bulky things are part of the reason you have that kind of large side stand beside the bed. Makes it a little bit bulky to walk around sometimes. Good news! We are a single-headed sewer monster! And look where your blade valves are located. They're not really outwards exposed. Now, once again, they haven't really given me a hard weather rating that I could apply to this, like you could use it down to X degrees, but if it's going to go a little bit below freezing today and come back tomorrow, I'm going to guess you should be fine. Nice gloss on the fiberglass there, but that's pretty normal from the factory. That's not anything special. The slide system. This is a AccuSlide. This is a Norco AccuSlide cable system. One of the cool things about that is it can go floor flush. But again, I try to be fair. I try to tell you the ups and the downs. There are some people who do not like that system. If you're one of them, feel free to, I tell you what, if you have an AccuSlide system, just leave a comment. Good, bad, ugly, in between. Let us know how it's treated you. I'd love to share notes with the class. And I could sit here and say everything all day, but I sound like a biased party. I'd like to hear it straight from the class. They don't have a rear bumper, but they do have a built-in sewer hose tube, if you notice right there. And they have a Class 2 receiver hitch on the back. That's more of a 1-inch, inch and a half square. Basically, that's an accessory bike rack. I don't see the weight sticker on it. Probably about 150-pound rating or something on that. But they have a 250-pound rated roof ladder to get you up top there to take care of your solar package, your walkable roof, your membrane, all that kind of fun upkeepy stuff. And like I said when this video began, there's a lot of other builders that make a very similar floor plan to this, even at Keystone. If you check the links in the video description, I'm going to leave you links there to check pricing and availability on these. If we have one in stock, you can see real world dollars. Anytime you watch this, we don't do hidden dealer fees. I'm also going to leave you links to a bunch of the other builders that I've run into that make versions of this layout. And in the meantime, I'm going to go start working on some of these other bullets here. And I'd be kind of curious, while I'm down here at our Anderson, Indiana store, where we have a bunch of these, is there a bullet model that you'd like me to get my hands on and try to capture for you? Leave me a note, let me know. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.